Hi everyone, in this lecture we are going to talk about grid template areas. I have reduced the number of grid items to 10, and now let's dive into CSS. So we have all of these styles which we have talked about a lot. I'm just going to go ahead and jump into CSS Grid Area. Now CSS Grid Area is the property that is going to allow us to create the entire layout of one website with just one CSS property. That is the property that is going to allow us to do it. So I'm going to say, and I mean the entire website, like all the columns and all the rows and all the placement in a very visual way. So I'm going to say grid template areas. It's a very, very powerful placing technique in CSS Grid. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to create multi-lines because we are going to have a lot of content here. This is just for readability purposes. Now, the number of values in a specific line, horizontal line in CSS editor, it is going to specify the number of columns that you're going to end up with. So we have 10 items. And what I want to do is I want to create, let's see, I want to create a 12 column. I think it is 12. So yeah, I want to create a 12 column system. So I'm going to say header. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to say header. I'm going to copy these two. And I'm going to say that is 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So how many headers do we have here? How many words do we have here? Keep in mind, they should be within quotes. Single or double, nothing. Doesn't matter, as long as they're within quotes. So there are 12 words in here. It means we are going to end up with 12 columns. The number of lines, horizontal lines, that we are going to repeat is actually going to define or decide the number of rows that we are going to end up with. So in the second one, what I want to do is I want to have an aside, and then the rest I'm going to have main section. So I'm going to copy that. Let's copy both of these. So that's 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and then another main. So, but you need to keep in mind that the number of words that you provide in any horizontal line, they should match from one row to the next row. If you don't want to provide it, if you don't want to stretch that section by that many columns, just provide a period, a dot. Dot signifies an empty column. So the aside is going to be stretched to the from second row to the third row. And in here, let's say I want to grab section 1, the first section, and I want it to stretch across 2 columns and then 3 columns, let's say 4 columns. And then I'm going to grab section 2. I'm going to tell you what these are. Don't worry, for now we are creating the entire layout. And I wanted to span across, so we had 4 here, and 1 there, 5, span across 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You're going to see the result in a sec. Let's grab the aside. So the aside is still stretching vertically. And I'm going to say section 3. I want this to stretch across 6 columns. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm going to grab section 4, and I want it to stretch across 4 columns. So let's copy that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 3, and then, so this one is still section 3. This is 7 sections, 7 columns will be for section 3, and 4 columns will be for section 4. Now, the aside is still going to stretch to the row number. So this is row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, 4, and row number 5. Here we have section dash 5. I want it to be stretched across 5 columns. So let's copy this. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we have section 6, which I wanted to also be stretched across 5 columns. Okay, it's not actually stretching as it is spanning, but I'm not using span because span is actually a reserved keyword for grid. And we are going to, when we get to that, you're going to understand, okay, what actually span is. It does the same thing as this is that what we are doing here, but it's going to be a little bit more complicated if I just go ahead and explain what span does and how it incorporates to grid areas. When you read when you study it in our upcoming lectures, then when you come back to grid areas, you're going to know, okay, what grid areas is actually doing is spanning, not stretching. Stretching is easier to comprehend. It's easier to visualize. 3, 4, and 5. And I'm going to provide a dot. This is going to signify an empty column. It means that the 12th column on this row is going to be empty. And then I'm going to have footer. So I'm going to copy that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Let's save that. So if I come here, this is what is going to happen. It's not something that you want, but it is something that you're actually ending up with. Now, this is not actually something that you want because we have created our grid areas, but we have not actually specified which item should be the header, which item should be the aside, which item should be the main element, which ones should be section 1 through 6, and which one should be footer. So we have header 1, aside 2, main 3, footer 4, and we have 6 sections 10. So in total 10. We need to have 10 items. That's why here we have 10 items. So now let's go ahead and let's assign them. Now I want to grab each individual divs separately. So I'm going to select their class. I could say div nth child 1, nth child 2. No. I'm just going to select the column. The class. This is where class names are useful. So this is going to select item 1. I'm going to say grid area. Which area of the grid you are going to contain, you're going to be the header. And your background color is going to be light coral. And let's just copy this, put it for item number 2. So I want the item number 2 to be the main section. The background color should be this one right here. There we go. So let's save that. Now they're being aligned. Don't worry about this. This is really messed up. And when you align it, it's all of them are going to look good. So this is going to be item number 1. Oops, this is item number 2. So for the rest of the items, I'm just going to repeat this because this is an important process. So I'm going to say grid area is going to specify which area of the grid that specific element is going to contain. So I'm going to say you are the aside. So everywhere that you're going to see aside, item 3 will appear there. Everywhere where there is header, item 1 will appear there. And all the areas that have been occupied by main, they will be item 2 will be appeared there. And let's do it for item number 4. Okay, where is the background color for this one? Let's put this one right here. So the grid area is going to be section 1. And the background color is going to be, so background color will be this one right here. There we go. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to copy paste the rest of them. It's very easy and it is taking a lot of time. So now everything is in order. We have section item 3 is aside, item 4 is section 1, item 5 section 2, 6, 3, 7, 4, 8, 5, 9, 6, and then we have item 10 is going to be the footer. Let's save that, and there we go. This is what we are going to end up with right here. So what is actually happening here? Let's just I'm just gonna grab this and I'm gonna put it on this side because I need to test something so you can see it honestly. And well. There is something wrong with our grid. It should not act this way. So let me just check our code first. It says grid template area 64. We have container item 1. Grid template areas. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this is 1. These are 3, 4. With that it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And we have 3, the other 3, the other 3, and the other 3. Everything looks fine. Let's give this a height. I think the reason for this is because the container doesn't have a height. So I'm just going to say height 100 VH and 100 VH. There we go. Okay. Area names. There we go. It looks better. So the setting is not what it should be. So there we go. This is what we actually have created. Now here is the header. All the item 1 spans across all the columns. This is the aside. This is the main section. Section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This white space on the right is the empty column, and this one is the footer. What I could do to make this a little bit easier for you to decipher is I could say header. The second one is going to be the main. This one is going to be aside. This one is going to be, let me just select this. The way that you can create multiple cursors is click somewhere and then hold Alt and click in other places. I want to create multiple cursors because I would just want to go ahead and change this to section. And this is going to be section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Finally, this is going to be footer. Let's save that. Let's come here and let's get rid of the grid view. Just get rid of it. And let's take a look at it. So we have header, main, section 1, section 2, section 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the footer. Usually what happens is that when you have a large website like this, the height is not set to 100 viewport height. It may be like more than 2,000-3,000 pixels, and you really want to set the height of your content anyway. That's besides the point. The point is that this is a layout of a website. Here we have the header, some side, the main content, sections, different sections, maybe like for testimonials, for products, you could also use them for news sections, these ones. And then at the bottom of the page, maybe you're scrolling like 15 times, 20 times until you get to the bottom. And then there's going to be the footer. The point is that you can do this with only one property of CSS Grid. Well, technically it's not one, it's just like as many items you have, those many grid areas you need to specify as well. But this makes the process of creating websites a lot simpler and a lot easier if you know exactly what your website is going to look like. If you have the design, then I would say just go with this. This is going to save you grid template columns. This is going to save you grid template rows. This is going to save you all the headache that you will face you're going to face when you're creating websites. So that's it for this lecture. See you in the next one.